Well, hello. This is a video I've wanted to do for quite some time now. I wanted to do a review on my canoe, but I also wanted to have enough time paddling it that I could really do a good, thorough review and give you my overall impression of this canoe. I've owned this canoe for, I got it in 2023, so this is my third season paddling it, and I've really enjoyed this canoe. It's the Northwind Solo model by Northstar Canoes, and yeah, I'm just going to go over a thorough review of this canoe. And you know, if you're interested in possibly getting a canoe like this or this exact model of canoe, hopefully this will help you help answer some questions and help you maybe decide whether you want to purchase this canoe. Before I get going on showing you the features of this canoe and talking about it, I just want to say that right from the get-go, this is an awesome canoe. I love it. Real happy that I purchased it. I have about 30 years of experience in solo canoeing. I've had 3 other solo canoes. I purchased some back in the 90s. I had my favorite one. Of course, when I first started out, my budget wasn't that great, so I purchased canoes that were affordable to me. And they were fine, but they just weren't a high-end solo canoe. In the mid-90s, early 90s I should say, I purchased a Mad River Independence. If you know anything about that company, it's no longer in business. They produced some of the nicest canoes during that time period, and they produced a couple of solo canoes, and the Independence was my go-to canoe for many years. Loved that canoe, and I used it a ton and really practically wore it out. And when it came time to let it go, it was a sad day, but I needed to let it go. And then my wife and I purchased a tandem with that money. So yeah, so a lot of my comparisons will be to that canoe because that's the one I spent so much time in my 30 years. But yeah, 3 years in this, I feel like it's, you know, fits like a glove now. So let's go over some of the features of this canoe. All right, so let's give you some of the specs to this canoe. The Northwind Solo is 15.5 feet long, and this particular model is a Starlight layup. That's a Kevlar material, or they call it a Negra. It's very lightweight, and this does not have a gel coat, so it has the clear resin skin coat on it, and that saves a little bit of weight. That's what makes it lightweight. It's 28 pounds, and give you a good look at the material. You can see that fabric right through the clear resin epoxy coat there. So yeah, I have this set up for kneeling, so the seat is rather high so I can get my feet underneath the seat, and I have a knee pad that I use. I prefer that position. It also can, it came actually with sitting drops, and I'll show you those in a couple of photos here. Yeah, so the seat drops in the sitting position are about a 4.5 inch drop in the front. So these, as you can see, much less. You're much higher up in the canoe, so you can get your feet underneath the seat. Yeah, like I said, I personally prefer that paddling position. I find it more stable. Now this canoe, I will I will mention that it's really not a beginner canoe. You can, obviously, if you've never paddled a solo canoe, you can pick up this canoe and learn how to paddle it, obviously, but I personally, I wouldn't suggest that you get this canoe and take it out on a major trip right away. I would spend some time getting used to the feel of it. The initial stability is a little bit, some people would call it wonky. The secondary stability is excellent. You don't need to worry about this thing tipping. I lean it all the way to the rails, no problem. As you can see, it's a fairly narrow canoe. The overall widest point of this canoe is 30 inches from the inner gunwales. The width is 26.5, I believe. Now you'll notice it has this characteristic shoulder, and that really helps in the secondary stability. That's a signature David Yost design. David Yost is a well-known canoe designer, and if you know a little bit about the canoeing world, Northstar Canoes used to be Bell Canoe Works. They sold canoes. Ted Bell sold canoes for many years under the Bell Canoe Works label, and then he stopped producing canoes for a while and was out of the business, I believe, and then started up again under the Northstar Canoe label. So Ted Bell and Bear Paulson, I believe, is the other gentleman that they are the major players in this company that make the canoes, and really they produce some really nice canoes, and these solo canoes are really nice. Yeah, lightweight canoe, easy to portage. You put a portage, removable portage yoke on here, and man, it really is easy to carry. I've been on some trips. If any of you that have followed my channel, you've seen me use this on trips, and I'll generally put a pack here in the back, pack there in the front, and it balances out really nice, and it really is stable when you have packs in it. Actually feels more stable loaded, actually. So yeah, let's see what else. Okay, well, a lightweight canoe. Some things that you might want to know if you're not used to this type of canoe. Very easy to carry, very easy to get up and down off of your roof rack on your car. One thing you do want to be careful about is wind. Don't just set this down on the ground or up on your vehicle on a windy day and leave it, because a big strong gust of wind can catch these things and blow them around. So when you're on a trip, you know, when you're done paddling for the day, bring that thing up on ground like I have it here and tie it off on a tree. If it gets super windy, you're going to want to flip it over upside down and tie both ends down. But I've had no issues with that. I'm just very aware of that and take the necessary precautions for windy conditions. Alright, as I mentioned earlier, my paddling position is generally in the kneeling position, and I use a bent shaft paddle, and it's fairly short. I always carry a spare along, and that's a straight shaft, a little bit longer. If I get in a twisty river or stream, I'll switch over to that, you know, if I have some current to deal with. But generally, I paddle on one side. If it's not windy, I paddle on one side of the canoe, and I'll demonstrate that here after I'm done talking here. We'll get out on the water and show you my technique. Actually, I did produce a video last year about my paddling style, and if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link to it at the end of the video. If I forget, just go to my channel, it'll be there. So anyway, yeah, I paddle generally on one side. I don't switch sides unless it's really windy or I need to for turning. I use the J stroke, and if it's in conditions like today, the entire way out here, I paddled on one side of the canoe, slightly leaned over to the paddling side, and that's how I roll. Now, some of you are probably thinking, oh man, this canoe looks like it would lend itself to a double blade paddle, really nice. And you would be right. You can use a double blade paddle in this canoe. That's just not my preferred way of paddling. I've never used a double blade paddle in a canoe, just never have. And again, that video that I did last year will explain all my thought process behind that. If you want to use a double blade paddle in this canoe, by all means go for it, but I just prefer the control I get with a single blade paddle, so I'll leave it at that. To each his own. All right, well, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to set up my camera and get some shots of me paddling this thing so you can get an idea how smooth it is on the water. And yeah, time to get on the water. Yeah, one thing I didn't go over when I was going over the layup and specifications of the canoe is I didn't talk about you know, the depth of the canoe. I don't know exactly what the depth of this canoe is right offhand. Go to Northstar's website to get all the specs of the canoe. And I wear a size 9 shoe, and even with the seat as high as it is here, I still have a little trouble getting my feet underneath sometimes. If I wear big clunky boots, I can't do it. So I don't know how somebody with bigger feet would do it, or if they do it, how they do it. I don't know. But yeah. The other issue that I didn't bring up is be aware that they do not put a very thick coat of resin on the inside of the boat. Is it adequate? Yes. But be aware, I've used this heavy, this is my 3rd season as I mentioned, and already from sliding my feet in and out underneath the seat, I've scuffed it pretty good, and at some point I'm going to have to brush on some resin on there to recoat it. Now in the front where I lay my paddle down as well, it's rubbed off quite a bit there. I guess that would be my only complaint is, you know, for maybe 1 more pound they could lay it on a little heavier on the interior, because especially if you take a little dog with you and getting canoe gear in and out of it, you can really scrape up the bottom of the canoe on the inside pretty easily. So just something to be aware of. But honestly,
It's probably not that big of a deal. It's more probably aesthetic, I'm guessing. At some point, if it gets to the point where I start seeing fuzz in the fabric showing, which it may never do that, but if it does, I will, I'll recoat it. It's not that big of a deal. So just wanted to make you aware of that. Another thing too is with Northstar's canoes, other canoes I've had in Kevlar layout, and I didn't notice it, but there is a line that goes right through the middle on the underside of the canoe, and that's basically the belly button of the canoe. When they take it out of the form, it leaves a line across the hull. First time I saw that, I was like, oh crap, what is that? Did I crack it? No, that's just the way it is. And why they don't buff it out, I don't know. That's a question for Northstar, but is it a big deal? No, it's just something to be aware of, just something I thought I'd point out. So yeah, great canoe, can't complain. And yeah, you're going to be real happy with it if you decide to go with a Northstar Northwind Solo. So how does this canoe handle in the wind? Well, as I mentioned earlier, I feel the canoe actually handles much better fully loaded. When it's empty, you can get a little bit of wonkiness, and you do have to fight the wind a little bit, but honestly, stability wise, I have no concern at all. It took me some getting used to. When it gets super windy, obviously you need to get off the water. You know, if you start getting, you know, white caps, you're fighting it. You know, you need to get up by shore, get completely off the water. But it handles fairly decent in the wind. I will be honest, compared to my Mad River Independence, it doesn't handle the waves as well. But really, it's not really a big concern for me. I haven't had any issues with it yet. Like I said, fully loaded, it really is very stable and just powers right through the waves. Yeah, it's like any canoe, you know, lightweight canoe, you're gonna get pushed around. You know, that's why some people go, feel they need to go with the double blade. It gives them a little more power to get through the wind. But honestly, you know, if you're really fighting the wind that bad, it's probably time to get off the water. But anyway, yeah, just wanted to bring up how it handles wind and waves. Overall, it does quite well. Well, all right, I'm going to wrap this video up. I hope you enjoyed this review and found some good information. If you're potentially interested in purchasing this canoe, or maybe even renting it somewhere, maybe like up in the Boundary Waters, know a little bit more about it from this video, I hope. And yeah, it's a very, very nice canoe. I call it, you know, it's like the Cadillac of solo canoes, in my opinion. There's other brands like Hemlock and Swift and Winona that make some very fine solo canoes as well, but this one's right in that league for sure. So very happy with it. I purchased it in, like I said, in 2023 for right around $3,000. So that's what you're looking at as far as your investment. These canoes with the high-end materials and ultralight layups are going to cost you a little bit more. So just know that going into it. The less expensive canoes are going to, they're not going to paddle as well, and they're going to usually be quite a bit heavier. So if you're into canoe tripping and you're young and can carry all that weight, then yeah, go that route. But I'm in my 60s, and this 28-pound canoe is a joy on portages. Yeah, getting it up and down, like I said, off the vehicle is a breeze. And yeah, really enjoy this canoe. Again, I hope you enjoyed the review. If you have any comments, leave them down below. And if you're interested in the type of content on my channel. It's an outdoor channel, outdoor adventure, mainly focused on canoe tripping, canoeing, fishing, bicycling, bike touring, skiing, any type of outdoor adventure. I will feature on this channel. It's pretty heavy into canoeing right now, but that's my go-to favorite thing to do. So yeah, it's always going to be that way, just so you know. But thanks for watching, and I hope you guys are having a great day, and see you out on the water.